I don't know what to say. I know this is technically supposed to be an intro, but I am baffled, bamboozled, stunned, whatever, at this headline. Senator Rick Scott has been weighing a presidential run. What? Hold on. This isn't the Babylon Bee. This isn't the Onion. This is right from New York Times. And I know New York Times isn't the best source ever. But guess what? This seems real. Senator Rick Scott may run for president of the United States. What? You gotta be kidding me right now. First we had Will Hurd today. Then suddenly this bombshell of news drops that Rick Scott may run for president. I am baffled at what is happening. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the description down below. Guys, go follow Real American Politics on Twitter. It is a great Twitter account everyone should follow. Of course, follow the Rumble page down below for exclusive content. And of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $3 a month, you could join Real American, which is a phenomenal deal, as help support the daily content we all know and love. You love the daily content? Well, this is the best way to support it. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. So, I don't know what to say. I am baffled at this. Because I could have sworn that Rick Scott was running for re-election. Now suddenly he's running or considering a run for president. Senator Rick Scott of Florida is considering a late entry into the Republican presidential primary race. What? What? Rick Scott? Like, okay, if Trump won re-election in 2020, Rick Scott was a frontrunner for 2024. I understand that. Not the frontrunner, it was probably Pence, but either way, at one point, Rick Scott was a serious contender in the future. He's always been lingering as a possible candidate. But now, when Trump, despite DeSantis entering, despite Doug Burgum, despite Christie, despite Nikki Haley, despite Tim Scott, Mike Pence, all the losers, right? Point is, despite all of them running, there's no serious sign of Trump going down the polling. And this was after the indictment news, after some questionable interviews. He's still polling nearly identical to before May. But now Rick Scott's thinking, yeah, this is the time to get into the election. What? A move that would make him the latest high-profile Florida Republican to try to wrestle the nomination from Donald Trump, according to people familiar with the discussions. Why? This is my question. Why? Because at first it's funny. You have the Chris Christies of the world, but Rick Scott? You know, I'm probably about to make a rant because if you don't remember, Rick Scott was one of the top people for the National Senate campaigns in 2022. He was in charge of the NRSC, which it's not the exact same as McConnell's scam known as the Republican majority or whatever it's called, the leadership fund, whatever. But it's still one of the bigger PACs in the country, and it's supposed to help support candidates. Rick Scott burnt through hundreds of millions of dollars. They just vanished. They just disappeared out of the blue. They're just gone. Magician's trick, bada bing, bada boom, they're gone. Hundreds of millions of dollars just gone. And now he thinks after 2022, which he helped screw us over. Rick Scott not as bad as McConnell, but when you look at it, he burnt through an ungodly amount of money. And now he wants to run for president? And this is what makes me mad. Because he didn't spend a dime of his own money in 2022. None of these candidates did, mind you. They say, oh, Trump's a cost for 2022. Name one of these candidates that financially supported a major candidate for 2022. Who did Pence support in the general election with financial support? Trump did. Sure, it wasn't as much as I wanted, but at least he supported our candidates to a lesser extent, financially and with endorsements. Who did Nikki Haley support in the general election? Who did Tim Scott? Who did any of these guys? This is my problem. Because you know what's going to happen? With people like Rick Scott entering, who, mind you, he's wealthy. He's worth a lot of money. They're going to spend billions of dollars on a primary. You heard that right. Not just the general election, on a primary. You see my issue with this. The more candidates that enter, especially wealthy people like Rick Scott, the more money that's being wasted on this unnecessary primary, with no indication of Trump going down in the polls. Now he's going to enter? You see my problem? I understand that DeSantis his campaign's falling apart at the seams. I mean, Larry Hogan, the Republican former governor of Maryland, captured the sentiment in a recent CBS interview, calling Mr. DeSantis' campaign one of the worst I've ever seen so far. Because guess what? It's garbage. It's saying we support free trade, we support globalization, we support, cuts of Social Security. It's a mess. You don't win the Rust Belt with that messaging. But that doesn't mean Rick Scott should enter. And I know Rick Scott hates DeSantis and vice versa. I understand that. But still, you cannot seriously say, well, I should enter. Because that's more money being wasted. Because guys, this primary may cost more than the general election in 2020 or 2016. Just a Republican primary, we might be in the billions of dollars spent. I mean, how can people defend this? They say McConnell carried us in 2022. Really? Why do you money launder hundreds of millions of dollars to garbage candidates, unnecessary elections? Why? But suddenly they have infinite wallets now? These big donors? Guess what? McConnell told them not to support Laxalt, not to support Masters. Do not support them. It's true. It is 100% true that McConnell was mad that Trump's candidates got past the primary. So, he told the big donors, go F themselves. He told the donors, don't support anything. It's true, look it up. They got a political argument with Peter Thiel about it. And suddenly the money dried up. But now they have $1 billion they can spend on a primary. When the front runner's up by 40 points in some polls. And above like 60 in some polling. How can anybody defend this? Trump is probably going to be the nominee. I think he will at this point. But you know what's going to happen after we spend $5 billion on a primary? I know that's exaggerating, but would you be shocked? They're not going to spend a dime on any of our candidates in 2022 or 2024. Not a dime. Rick Scott, he's going to spend $500 million. Watch. But in the general, he may spend $5 million on other candidates. Then blame Trump for, not helping our candidates a lot. It's pure hypocrisy. These people are delusional. They are. They're not just idiots. They're delusional. They seriously believe that this time Trump is going away in jail. We've been saying this for years. The walls are closing in. I'm just sick of this. I'm sick of these people that say, Trump didn't help us in 2022. Where were these people? Where was DeSantis financially supporting candidates? Where? Outside of Florida. Where? He received $100 million from the RGA. $100 million. Didn't spend a dime of it. He pocketed it for his campaign. How can people say Trump costed us 2022 when of these major candidates, the only one to spend significant amount of money through his PAC for other candidates and did a bunch of events for people? How can people blame Trump? The financial problem was because of the incompetence of Rick Scott and the money hoarding of people like DeSantis and Tim Scott. They hoarded hundreds of millions of dollars for their respective campaigns, grifted about, oh, I'm not running for president, then suddenly all that money went to super PACs, supporting them for president. How can people not see through this garbage? It's a grift. Only reason Rick Scott's doing this is to sell a book. I guarantee you. It's a money laundering scam a lot of these people are doing. But it's still going to hurt Trump. Because he's going to have to spend much more money than he should on a, let's be real, basically an uncompetitive primary. Because Trump's at 60% in some polls. I'm sick of it. I am sick of these unnecessary primaries. And these same people say, we have to unite behind the Republican candidate. Really? This is what you call unity? It's a scam. It's a complete and total scam, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of us burning through billions, but cannot spend a dime on Blake Masters. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.